to everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first Technicolor Online. I am Massimo Nardi, HIV Prevention and Testing Coordinator, and I'm here with Ricky Krokos, who is my colleague at Positivist, as well Prevention and Testing Coordinator. What is Technicolor? First of all, Technicolor is an LGBT film night that we created last year at Positivist as a live event to have in the Redbridge Central Library in Ilford. But in these times of COVID-19, of course, it's not possible anymore to have Technicolor in a library. So we thought, why don't we bring it online on Facebook? So here we are with you. So you might ask, what is Positivist? Well, Positivist is the largest HIV charity, community-based HIV charity in East London. And we provide free services to people living with HIV who either live or access HIV care in East London. These services include peer support, counseling, group activities, and welfare and benefits advice. Our services are still operating, so if you are interested in accessing these services, please do get in touch through our website. We also provide free HIV and STI testing and sexual health advice to people across East London. But in these times, we have stopped, of course, the face-to-face services. So you can always contact us on our website, by email or live chat to have sexual health information and advice. If you live in London, you can also order a free testing kit to be sent to your house from www.shl.uk, and reduced price or free condoms from freedoms-shop.com. So that's what Positivist does and what we are. So in this range of services, we also organize this LGBT film night. So as you probably saw in our posts and in our tweets, we encouraged everybody to watch God's Own Country, which is a British film that came out in 2017, and it's about a Romanian migrant worker who comes to work in a farm in England and falls in love with the farmer, basically. If you didn't watch the film yet, don't worry, you can always watch it at your pace, and hopefully this will encourage you to watch the film, this discussion with my colleague Ricky. So Ricky, shall we crack on? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Let's go for it. Hey, hello everyone. My name is Ricky. I'm a prevention and testing coordinator from Positivist. I do that job for more or less 2.5 years. And Massimo, thank you very much for having me. I hope that I'm not going to disappoint you.
No worries. We also take the opportunity to say everybody that this is our first broadcasting live. So we apologize if we for any glitches or any problem that might arise. And please, if you have any question about the film, about what me and Ricky are going to discuss, please ask your questions on the comments below the video, and we will try to reply to your questions at the end of the discussion. Okay. So Ricky, would you like to tell us something about yourself and What is your experience living in the UK as an LGBT plus person from Poland?
So I'm 37 years old. I was born in Poland in the small little town. So I'm a small town gay boy. I lived in London for more or less 12 years. I came to England soon after finishing my university. I did social care and social readaptation. And first 2 years in England, I spent in Berkshire and Essex. And it was really nice because it was kind of more, well, smaller town, different people, and I did enjoy it, but overall it was a bit boring. Quality of life was higher and better, but the gay life wasn't as rich as I was expecting it to be. So I came to London, and it was something completely different. I mean, within 1 week, I started to work in Chariots, which is the gay sauna. I was working in branch in Streatham. It was really nice. I stayed there for about 2 years. I get to learn the language. I had fantastic manager called Robert. Hello, Robert. And it was really, really nice. It was like a social tea party for older gentlemen with a little bit of a sex here and there. So that was really cool. From there, I moved to Royal Vauxhall Tavern, and it was really cool because I could see so many performances, and I met so many people and so many barmans and so many really fascinating people with which I'm still in touch. From there, I moved slightly closer to the sexual part of LGBT, where I was working in Vault and other places. And when I did all of those things, which as a current prevention and testing worker of positivists, I would recommend you to not to do, I started to volunteer at Positivist, and Positivist, and actually that 1.5 years of volunteering on advice line and reception, a little bit of the outreach actually allowed me to move into professional work with the education and etc. and etc. So that was really something extra, because from there I moved to homelessness, where I was working in the hostel with people with no recourse to public funds, new migrants, Polish, Romanians. And that was also fascinating because that allowed me to get to know how much we are able to achieve, not being provided any structural support by the government, let's say. So that was really amazing. And then from there, I changed the job into NHS and grants, well, and etc. And now I'm back with Positivist, trying to utilize all that knowledge and experience, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, you have a lot of knowledge and experience for sure. And I was wondering right now, how was your LGBT experience when you were back in Poland? Was it this rich? Was it different? Was there any difference?
Gay people in Poland are more closeted. I think that I was more out, and I was going on the pride marches where we got beaten and teared apart because we were told that it's illegal. And similar situation in England, it's something completely different. Actually, because I was preparing myself to talk to you about this, and in United Kingdom, there's about 800,000 Polish people. So we are one of the largest ethnic minorities. And in about, let me have a look, in October 2019, there was a research made on Polish LGBT people, and 27% of those said that they moved from Poland to England due to issues around LGBT community. When I was moving to England, it was the end of the 10-year right Catholic government, which was replaced with even further right, more xenophobic, more anti-Semitic, more homophobic government with the main party called Law and Justice, which is super homophobic and very un-European. So that is also why quite a lot of my friends who I know in London do not want to go back, because we were thinking that it will be better with time, but because quite a lot of us left who are more on the left side, then I don't know, maybe that is why it's not getting better.
Oh, okay. I understand.
But London and England is actually fascinating because it's so much more colorful and multicultural and tolerant, and there's so much more acceptance and embracement rather than, oh, I will tolerate you if you will stay at your home and do things without being
I
seen.
understand.
So,
but on that theme, I wanted to connect to the film that we watched, God's Own Country. And in the film, we see that when John, the farmer, and Georgi, the Romanian worker, meet for the first time, John is very aggressive and quite xenophobic with Georgi. At first, he thinks that he's like Pakistani or something, and then when he says he's Romanian, John starts calling him with names like Jaipo or Gypsy until Georgi confronts him, and then things, as we saw, take a completely different path. Do you think these are common things that happen to the migrants from Eastern Europe that move to the UK? And do you think there are additional challenges apart from this for a person who is LGBT, apart from being from Eastern European country?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think that Eastern European, Polish, Romanian, and others do have opinion, or there's quite a lot of stereotypes, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. Stereotypes basically are supposed to inform us about something that we don't know, so we just basically put in like random knowledge to the holes in our brain. And what is quite typical about Polish is that they're supposed to be quite hardworking. They're supposed to drink a lot, they're supposed to be religious, they're supposed to be something else. And occasionally you can play it nice and you can play it in different ways. There's also quite a lot of stereotypes about Romanian. I mean, even on the movie that Romanians are gypsies, I know plenty of Romanians. I was working with Romanians who are very professional and they're amazing. And they do feel offended when they are told this, because I'm assuming that the person who is saying it have an intention to offend. So I think that we need to have slightly thicker skin because we do experience it. And I think that it is a form of the hate crime or bullying. So it can be reported, it should be reported. And I would encourage people to report it to their managers or further.
Yeah, and we should also remind people that on Sunday, it records the Idaho Beat, the International Day of Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. So yes, everybody who has any experience of hate crime based on their sexuality or on their ethnicity, they should be encouraged to report it. Yeah, thank you, Ricky, for reminding that.
Thank you.
So on this note, do you know if there are any organizations or social groups that help LGBT people from Eastern European countries to settle in London and, to have a social life among their members, or if there are any groups more widely in the UK?
I mean, I'm sure that there's plenty of those groups, but I don't know like one organization which would gather all the Eastern Europeans working into relocation or supporting LGBT community. There's very nice Eastern European forum made of quite a lot of professionals in West London, and it's surrounded around about the upper room. There's quite a lot of organizations or social groups like Polish Rainbow in UK. There is a GMI and Metro who have a Bezpieczny Rodak, which is the safe Polish program for Polish people. There's Outside Project, Peter Thatcher Foundation. There's plenty. There are quite a lot of day centers. So for example, in Tower Hamlets, we have Whitechapel Mission and Delo Center, which are able to support people from quite a lot of different countries, also those without the recourse to public funds. There's North London Action for Homelessness, there's Albert Kennedy Trust, there is outside project, Migrants Advice Center, quite a lot of interesting places to which we also go, like Aquaba. So it's quite good to have people with our experience on the team, because we are able to connect and bond better, hopefully.
Yeah, that's great. And as we were discussing previously, you also had the good suggestion for people that if they don't speak English fluently and they need to access some service, it's always good to try and ask if a certain organization you need, if they have somebody speaking your language, because as Ricky is Polish, I am Italian. In Positivist, we have plentiful of different languages spoken, and so we can help a lot of people in different languages. Probably in other organizations this happens as well, and there are like Polish workers, Romanian workers, Italian, Spaniards that can help people who don't speak English and they speak another language as a first language, right?
Exactly. And I think that it's also quite important to do those networks. I mean, I live with two Polish people, and there's quite a lot of us, basically. So I know quite a lot of Polish people who are professional in different organizations. So I'm able to provide you the STI test, HIV test, explain you everything, support your young sexuality, maybe apply for the benefit, but there are some things which I would prefer not to do. And there are other Polish people in other organizations who specialize in what I don't know well. So it's actually good to say, like, okay, so that is what to do, and I know that that organization is great, I know that that worker is great, and send the person there. And I think it's working. It was working in the past, and I hope it will work in the future.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, if you want to have like a list of the organizations that people that Ricky named, or if you need something in particular, don't hesitate to contact us on Positivist website. You can email Technicolor's email at technicolor@positiveeast.org.uk. You can email me, massimo.nardi@positivist.org.uk, or you can email Ricky directly as well at ricky.krokos@positiveeast.org.uk.
That's the one.
I will ask Alisa if you have any questions from our public. Alisa, are you with us?
I'm with you. Thank you very much. Hi. Thank you very much, Massimo and Ricky. That was really fascinating, really wonderful. There aren't any questions so far from the audience. So just for everyone who's watching with us, if you do have any questions for Ricky and Massimo, you can type them in the comment section of the Facebook Live event. And if you think of a question, later this evening, or if you're watching the film later, a question pops up, you can always email us as well.
Yes, thank you, Alisa. And I would like to remind to everybody who connected later and didn't hear my message at the beginning that Positivist is still open, and we offer most of our services on video and on calls. So if you live in East London and you need one of our services, you can always contact us on our website, on our emails, or on the chat on our website, and we will try to help as best as possible. And if you need an HIV test or an STI screening at this moment, unfortunately, we can offer it face-to-face, but you can always order a free, very confidential testing kit from www.shl.uk. And if you need condoms, you can also get them for a small price or for free from freedoms-shop.com. So we are done for this Technicolor, for this first Technicolor, and we hope to see you all next month on the 9th of May. The next film that we will watch is Weekend, a British film from 2011. And we will have our colleague Greg Leonard from the peer support team to talk about gay relationships and HIV. So, yes, Alyssa?
Yes, so we did get one question asking around about any support that's available in West London, because Positive East works for people either living in East London or accessing care in East London. What are the options for people who are living in West London?
So in West London, there is our sister organization called Spectra, S-P-E-C-T-R-A. Their website is www.spectra-london.org.uk. They offer basically most of the services that we offer, including sexual health and HIV information, counseling, yes, and they also have a very important trans service, which we liaise with for Positive East in East London. And if you need peer support, Positively UK is the organization to contact for peer support for people living with HIV in West London. Okay, so if there are no more questions, we will see you next time on the 9th of May. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.